Hello, and welcome to my show, uh, Every Day with an Angel. I'm Natasha Venter. I am here to support you in your life's journey. So, as I'm going forward in this story here, I'm live on Instagram, I'm live on YouTube, and um, and used to be Twitter X, and then also on Facebook. So, thank you for being here. And if you're just coming in, I'm grateful that you're here. So, this conversation is going to be about labels, our personal labels and the labels that are given to us on society. And I know that I have not been live on Instagram here for a while. And I know that I'm kind of doing this is a continuous thing that we're kind of doing on my show. Because I had a guest on a couple weeks ago, Jeff Brown, and he is just a very wonderful man who is an everyday dad. And no, he's not the famous person, but yet at the same time, though, he is one that has gone through his own story of labels because of being diagnosed multi personality disorder and you know all those depressional things like that. So he told his story. Hello there, everyone. He told his story about, being a, that he was walking in the different dimensions. And now I do the same thing, but I've been doing it for so long that it's an everyday thing for me. But, me being an intuitive and multidimensional intuitive, actually, and also I do a lot of channeling. I do a lot of other things. I speak with many different dimensions. Metatron actually talked with me last night. It's one of those things that we're all coming into this new understanding of ourselves. And so if we have to have a label put on us by the 3D world, the doctors, the stories, those types of people, I want you to remember that, we have to find our own truth through our labels. And that's the thing about labels, me being dyslexic. I've been dyslexic. My dad was dyslexic. There's been dyslexicness through our family. And, with being dyslexic, yes, I've had that label. But yet at the same time, though, I also know that I had to find my own truth. So knowing that truth, that I finally in my more recent years found out that my dyslexia actually helps me not read English or communicate in English very well in my 3D world, but when I'm in my intuitiveness, I can speak in, um, uh, the alien languages, and I'm saying languages because there's many of them, right? Just like there is on this planet. And I also can speak in, I do have an ability to have an understanding of many languages, even spoken in the US, in the world here. I may not understand fully, but yet there's some intuitiveness that comes in with that. And so you find that most intuitives or dyslexics have a form of intuition to them, right? And then, we're working on these things. So going into this, I want you to remember that if you are labeled, and, many of us, have a story of being labeled, with an addiction or labeled with, and I'm going to even name, narcissism here, because a lot of us have been naming people with narcissism. It's a new theme, new word right now, right? But yet there's these tendencies that everybody has. And the thing that I want people to know is that, we're all setting up boundaries, right? And these boundaries. And I know that a lot of the stories, a lot of the themes that are going around right now is as if your friends are doing this to you, well, just leave them. If you are having struggles with this, just get away from it. If you have a boss that's like this, just leave it, right? But what's to say that it's a time to leave these things that have these labels, right? And that's the thing that I want people to remember that, sometimes if we leave a situation too early, And I know that there's someone watching here who has had a dance with someone who has a label that actually I helped put on that person because sometimes when we put a label on, it helps to get an understanding of someone, what their situation is, as I'm using quotation marks, because I know that on my podcast, you're not going to see me, you're going to listen to me, but yet at the same time, though, it's a wonderful thing that, going into this story of where we're at and what we're doing, that who are we through these labels and where do we create boundaries with them, right? And, we can have these boundaries inside of labels. Like for me, I have boundaries on my intuition, right? I have boundaries on my gifts because I'm not available 24/7. So I need to have boundaries, right? I need to have boundaries on these different things. And knowing that, I had someone who I'm living with still 32, 33 years. Oh my gosh, in March I'll be married 33 years and together with him for 35 years. A long time married to someone, right? Well, you know, 11 of those years, he's an alcoholic and he's been drinking since he was 14. I was very shy and quiet when we first met. I'm not the same woman I used to be. I'm still the kind, loving person that I was, but more outgoing. I've gotten rid of my shyness. I'm not afraid of walking forward, where I used to be afraid of walking forward. So I was labeled shy, right? I was labeled the person who never wanted to speak, right? So there's another label, shyness. I couldn't label all these in the description, right? So going through that, being labeled shy, I I labeled myself. And this is the thing that I want people to remember is how we perceive ourselves is how others perceive us. So if we perceive ourselves with our labels, shy, dyslexic, ADHD, narcissist, um, addictive, um, uh, manic depressant, schizophrenic, whatever that is. If we believe fully that's what our label is and what we are, then yes, that's who we're going to be, right? But it's up to us to do our lives better. And that's what I want to give inspiration for is, your truth is your truth. I want you to remember that. Your truth is your truth, right? Your understanding is your understanding. But the thing is, though, if you can have a greater understanding, because we're coming into these new understandings, and we've been doing a lot of work in many years before this. We really started out in the 90s. If were there, many of us had our kids born here, like mine were 93 and 97. So going into this story of where we're at and what we're doing, that the labels that we're into is something that, we've been working on these creation of becoming our truer self. And that's what I'm helping you to be is your truer self. Hi, Chelsea. How are you doing? Oh, thank you for being here. I missed you so much. And I love your travels and I love your insights on your travels through Facebook that I see. Oh, what a gift you are. And Veronica, thank you. And everybody, thank you for being here. That, we're all in this story of creating this newness. So if you are starting to hear insights and voices in your head, you're not necessarily going crazy. So if you get labeled by a psychiatrist that you're multi personality disorder, right? Well, check in. Are you a free channeler? Right? That's where getting, it's like, can we believe all the medical? I do go to my medical doctor, yes, but I also deal with a chiropractor. I also deal with a naturopath. So I get a more well-rounded view, right? A more well-rounded understanding of life. And if we can get more well-rounded understanding of life, like, when my guest, that I had on a while ago, that he ended up having a session with me and found out that he wasn't crazy, right? That he wasn't going crazy. that actually he was going off into different worlds, right? Jeff was going off into different worlds. And, that's the thing is that we can get labels on us, which do make sense, but really, in some ways they don't. So if you can, okay, sorry, I got a hair on it's tickling my nose. That, it's one of those things that as we have like hairs tickling our noses and water in our eyes and, all those types of things. And sorry, my Wi-Fi is going a little bit slow right now, but, we got a kind of a little bit of windstorm going on that, going into this dance of life, it's amazing if we can get a more well-rounded understanding, more well-rounded life of ourselves. And so with that, going into this, please check in when you get a label. Does the full label give you your full diagnosis? Or is there a different perspective you can have? And I can tell you, we're going to start hearing more voices. We're going to start having these beings being closer to us. We're going to start having our loved ones around us. And there's going to be these stories of oh my gosh, I'm feeling chills up my back, right? Is someone around me? Well, that's where it's wise to start checking in with people. I'm going to say like me, who can give you the idea that you're not going crazy. And you need to have boundaries, right? If you don't like the way you're feeling, tell whatever's around you to get away. Go away. You do not have permission around me, right? But I'm going to tell you that if it's a good thing, it's never going to make you feel icky. It's never going to tell you something negative. It's never going to do. Now, like I had a dream this morning, and I know it was some of my subconscious. I know it was part of my intuition. I knew it was part of it, but it was kind of a wow, where did this dream come from? I'm not going to give you details. But somebody close hurt me, but I knew that wasn't the story. But I checked in. Where did it happen? It happened in my neck. My neck is about speaking my voice. So what am I, the parts of me that are stopping me speaking a truth, right? Because of the fact that when we have these scenarios in our life, many a times we have dreams, we have our thoughts, we have our old stories, we have our old labels, we have our own old understandings that are giving us these things that are more negative. But that's not who we are. We are miracles, right? We are miracles. We are creating our miracle. So there's ways of healing this miracle body. And mindset is 90% of it. Nervous system is 100% of it. Well, at least 80. Mind is 20, so that makes 100%, right? What we're thinking right now is what's being created. So if you keep concentrating on an ow, we're going to have an ow, right? And if we're thinking, I'm asking for healing on this, I'm loving you. Thank you for being here to teach me that I need to take care of myself. Thank you for who I am. I'm sorry that you're hurting. I hope you do better. And you go to a doctor or you get off all the pops and the sugars and all of that stuff and see if your joints do feel better, right? Because things are happening to us, for us, so we can be our better selves. Now, I've been really looking at my ADHD. I realized lately, and I know that part of this ADHD and us who are a little bit older are really feeling like we're very getting ADHD, right? But we were in the older world where things were a little slower, pre-phones, pre-knowings, these quicker times, right? And we're not aligning with the energies that are out there. So this energy is speeding up. And so it's harder to concentrate, right? But I also understand that, and I'm going to speak an I here. So if any of this I story that I have rings a little true for you, I hope it supports you. I know for me that I have more trauma induced ADHD. That label came to me not too long ago, or There's a label, right? That label, but I'm checking in to see. And this label came to me to support me. So I realized that when I was younger doing my homework, I did not, I couldn't read very well. I couldn't concentrate very well because I did not want to go necessarily into something that would hurt me, damage me, you know, call me stupid necessarily, right? Doing homework I couldn't do while you self think stupid, right? So I would distract myself. I'd watch TV, I would tinker with something, I would do this, I would do that, do other things, right? So that taught me to not go into my pain, distract myself. And isn't that a side effect of ADHD is distracting self, right? Because if you go from squirrel, one thing to another, to another, to another, to another, that we're riding on top of scenarios, right? Instead of getting down deep into the pain. Now, I am one that I know as an adult how to deal with the pain and the ache and going into the story, going into where we're at. And I'm not afraid to look at my um, disharmony, my pain, my inner, hey, it's like when my parents passed away, I tipped that box over my life and I looked at the bottom because I knew everything that I didn't want to deal with was at the bottom of my personal box. And so I flipped that box over and dealt with what was in top, like being molested, being abused, all these different stories, right? Um, and being bullied, all those personal things that I was labeled, right? Stupid, not good, a wimp, all those whimsical labels, right? That we throw around so easily, but they do cause interaction of thought that aren't isn't always so good, right? And so when we're thinking about that, so I'm going to throw this to someone who's a narcissist, right? What labels were they taught when they were younger? Who in their family didn't show them love? Who taught them the narcissistic, selfish ways, right? How do you think that sometimes narcissists are on this defense all the time so they don't think deep into their lives? Hmm, isn't that a thought? That they keep running forward and blaming others so that they don't have to look at themselves. It's a defense mechanism, right? Not good, not bad. It is what it is. But when we're living with someone, we need to have boundaries with them, right? You're not treating me that way. Here's proof. I got proof right here that what you're saying is not true, right? And it's not always, sometimes discernment, not saying something, sometimes we can't battle with something that is on defense, narcissist or not, right? If somebody's on defense, sometimes that's not the best time to bring out um, understandings and their wrongs, right? But sometimes we can come to it later in a different way, having a conversation, asking a question instead of making a statement, right? There's ways to negotiate things in our that are labeled. So now, going back to my label of ADHD, it gave me the understanding that, you know what? I am going to heal my ADHD, at least this trauma induced part of it. I'm going to start working on that part of me that's been trauma induced. That I'm gonna trust my voice. I'm gonna settle myself down. When I start getting distracted, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna ground myself, settle myself, take a deep breath, decide, I'm safe finishing what I started. I'm safe finishing what I started. I'm gonna trust myself with where I'm at. I'm gonna trust myself with where I'm at. So do you hear my language here? That I'm not beating myself up. I'm using more positive words. I'm going to give myself to 10 minutes to do this. I'm going to give myself 10 minutes to do this, right? So that I know that for 10 minutes I can concentrate on something because I'm going to struggle. I'm going to persevere through the hard thing. And when we can persevere through the hard thing, then we can manage our life a little bit better, right? So let's say if you're feeling schizophrenic, right? There are the clinical scenarios that deal with that, and I do not have a brain of that kind of thing, but I understand that we do have these labels on something that are scenarioed, but we have to try to do our personal work to get to an enlightened self. So if we can know, like, I've been, the month of January, oh my gosh, I have gotten so many downloads, so many inspirational moments, so many understandings of where I'm at, right? That, when we're going forward, that I really had to look at myself, make sure that my stove was turned off, right? Make sure when I was driving that I was actually here in the car driving, that I really had to concentrate. There again, the ADHD moments come back down. So if you're feeling a little wonky through January here, oh my gosh, how many insights did you have? How many new understandings have you had? Did you feel like you were kind of like going through a car wash and then came out the other side of it? Did you feel like that you were being stripped down and then rebuilt again? Well, that was part of that energy. And it really hit us in the solstice during the holidays. So if you've been feeling off since the solstice with that new, or I think it was a full moon, coming in, and now we're going into the Chinese New Year coming up with the dragon. Oh my gosh, the year of the dragon. This could not be more insightful. We had the year of the rabbit, the Chinese year of the rabbit, gathering, getting ideas, having, the thumping. Get out of my house. Get out of my house. I'm big here. Right? A mother rabbit gives of herself, right? Her own fluff to make a bed for her children. So, what did we give of ourselves to be able to move forward and do ourselves better, right? We had to give something to get something. We had to give something to get something, and we have to get something to give something. So, I hope, learned that our nutrition, a lot of us went through body upgrades, right? So, our nutrition, a lot of us got off the sugars, a lot of us changed our diets this last year. Because the year of rabbit, what do they ingest, right? All the garden stuff, right? And they look for the better stuff. So do we do better in our diets? I hope so. Because I can tell you that the list that's coming out of what should we eat by the government is not what should be eating. Think about that. You need to eat cereal, not an apple. The apple has too much sugar in it. Eat the cereal. Have you read what's in cereal? Just an idea for you, right? So, going into this story, how are you managing your labels? How are you managing what you've been labeled from the past? Because I'm going to tell you that our old labels may not be working anymore. There may be a truth to it, but I know that, like going back to my ADHD story, that and I do have tendencies towards the ADHD, and they do get worse at certain times, especially when I'm getting downloads or I'm not grounded. Ain't that a statement? And grounding isn't always about being totally in our world, right? Grounding is much, so much being with our situation. Being grounded is being in the moment we're in it. Being grounded is thinking that when I sit down, I have all myself sitting down. And like I had a friend who is trying to go through some stuff, boxes and stuff like that. And I said, your team wants you to be all there when you're going through it. Many of us are so distracted that we don't have all of us, our inner child, our higher self, our bodies, minds, emotions, spirit, and all our things that we've gone through in the past, ready to go through the future, are not all with us, right? So we have shame, we have guilt. Oh, wait a minute, isn't that a label? I have shame right now, right? Guilt. Labels are very simple to negotiate. if we're careful to deal with them. I want you to remember that you're a miracle becoming a, a more cleaner, lighter miracle. And when we're going through these scenarios and we're going through life's challenges and stuff, that we have to be willing to look in the mirror and say, you know what? Yeah, I have that label. Yeah, I have that label. But it's not all me, right? I'm not a full narcissist, and I know I'm living with a man who is a recovering narcissist. So if you look into yourself, you can always change yourself. And change isn't always about making sure that you're all different, right? But I'm going to tell you, though, that turning from a pessimist to an optimist is a great gift for yourself. Going from being someone who's always angry and judgmental to being more kind and more overall viewing the world as you have your story, I have mine, that we can all have these knowings that we are becoming more enlightened as teams. Like someone was asking me, this intuitive person has this language, this intuitive person has that language, this intuitive person has this. And she says, what's the truth? And I said, well, actually, if you take all those truths, right, and bring them into your truth, we're all pieces of the puzzle that gives you an idea on how to make your truth. Is there a purgatory? Probably, right? Are we living it today? Yes. Are we going to go to one? No, that's my understanding. No, we're not, right? But yet we're all in this moment of life and moving forward that we're going into these new understandings of ourselves. And if we can trust that intuitiveness, like I was talking with another person, and she goes, actually, in a session you told me that I was intuitive. Guess what? I called the football teams that were going to be in the Super Bowl. And everybody else who had all the stats and everything thought it was going to be somebody else. But I was saying the two teams that are going to the Super Bowl. I said, good job believing in that. And that's the thing that we're going to have to start doing, is believing in a part of us. No matter what the labels are, no matter where we're going. Because like this tree, this pendant came to me, the tree of life, right? That we're all part of this thread of where we're at and what we're going. And I'm hoping and praying that wherever you're at and what you're doing, that you're finding yourself at the miracle that you are. Because there is time to do this. And it's going to take a little bit of stretch and pull of your mind. It's going to take a little bit of big stretch and pull of your emotions. And it's going to be resetting your nervous system. Because, if we've been taught that we were schizophrenic since we were 3 years old, right? Or if we had parents that were schizophrenic and we have tendencies that we've learned from them to become our higher self, right? Because we may not be these labels, but we may have learned those tendencies. And if we relearn a new tendency, won't that help us become a truer selves? Right? Because we are miracles. We have blessings. And there is our life is a journey. And our life is a journey of you are this and I am this, right? And I know that we've been throwing around labels also about, these stories of and self-truths, which I want to honor, that I am, uh, um, you know, I am a they, right? Or, going from male to female or binary. right? There's these labels that are being thrown around. He, she, it, they, them, right? It's your truth. I have a child that is transgender, right? And I have to believe her that she is not him anymore. That's who she wants to be. I can't fault that. I can honor as much as I can. But either way, whatever her label is, she's still human. She has emotions. She's having to go through things. She's being triggered. She's doing her shadow work. And if anybody knows what shadow work is, that stuff that says, ouch, I don't really want to look at you right now, but I need to, right? So going into this, where are we at and what we're doing? But if you're going to start listening to that inner voice, remember it's not negative and it's never going to be downgrading. That inner voice that says, come on, you can do it. Come on, try it. Come on, you've got it, right? Like I was having a conversation with Metatron last night, and he's actually the doorway between this world and the other worlds. He is the combination between all the star beings and the angelic realm on this planet, right? And so he is the conductor of he helps combine all he's a great seer over of all that. Just like Azrael, who I work with, is the great overseer of time, ultimate time. So Metatron was talking with me, and like he was saying that the reason why I haven't been so busy lately is so I can get my work done. Oh, thank you. Because I don't want to feel scattered, but at the same time, I've been asking to be to to have more. I would love to support people in their life's journey. So I have time for clients. I have inspiration for clients, right? And I have insights to come for you as a client in sessions. Going into this story, but the universe gives us time, gives us these negotiations, gives us sometimes our labels, like me with the idea of trauma-induced ADHD, that my trauma-induced ADHD gave me a doorway to start healing some of my trauma, my dyslexic self, my my trauma induced from having two husbands that were very demeaning to me. So then I didn't really find a truth in myself. So I was pretty unsettled. Isn't that a thought of what ADHD is, being unsettled? Being unsettled in my walks of life, which didn't help me get settled and know that this is my decision. This is what I'm going to do for 10 minutes, and I'm safe doing it. Right. And I think that's the difference is a lot of people with ADHD, and there's a lot of energy out there, which if you're tapped in unknowingly to this energy, it's a fast moving energy. We're going into AI, and and uh, and we're going into a lot of these knowings that is speeding up time. And if we get into that, that's another reason why we're feeling ADHD, because time is speeding up. Not necessarily time on the clock is speeding up, but time in the universal sense is speeding up. The energies are speeding up. The understandings are speeding up. This and that coming at us is speeding up. So going into this, remember, sometimes what we're feeling is not always us, right? I was feeling last week, it was a full moon, and I was feeling very low, very heavy, very wondering what my life purpose was, right? But at the same time, though, was it all mine? No. And I kept trying to shove boundaries, shove that energy away, right? But what we fight persists, right? So finally, I just said, I'm aligning my energies to the now. Let me be my better self so I can negotiate the world around me, right? Let me attune to the energies. And if we can go through that story of aligning ourselves with the energies, attuning to the energies of the now, attuning to my new knowings of where I'm becoming, I'm attuning to those stories, we can usually negotiate it. with a better, cleaner self. And that's one thing also, if you're coming up to someone who you struggle with, have you tried aligning your energies with them instead of fighting them, right? Going in and aligning yourself. And I've done that with mine. Sometimes when I'm in an argument with someone, I align with their energy so that we can have communication. Hi, Bev. Thank you for being here. It's been a long time since I've been able to connect with you. Yes, Bev, thank you. Yes, I'm so grateful to be here with you too. Thank you. You know, and I keep thinking about you and Dwayne so much. Goonie has been not playing golf like I know he used to, and I don't hear stories about him in it's wintertime, but I keep thinking of you and sending love. Going into this story, and actually your daughter, I think, with your granddaughter, they have popping into my knowings so much lately. So if you can get a message to them that I really hope that she is doing okay, your granddaughter is doing okay with the energies that are out there, because I know that they're getting very bombarding, and I know she was very intuitive about it. And so I hope that a lot of the tools I taught her were great tools for what she's going through. So side note, squirrel. ADHD moment. Intuitiveness come popping in. So thank you, Bev, for being here. Get grounded in who you are. It's okay to squirrel. I know for me, I had a past life I was a schizophrenic. So what did I do? I brought that person that energy into my team so I can multitask in many ways, right? So going into this, not every label is bad. But everything that we are interacting with has two sides of a coin. And I always like to have my coins more up and down than flat, because it's harder to flip a coin over, right? But if I have my two sides to every coin, dark side, light side, if I keep my sides turning, right, then I can go from darkness to lightness, heaviness to joyfulness, sadness to lovingness, right? And if I turn the coin, it's a little bit easier than trying to flip it over, right? So going into this, think of yourself with a little bit different enlightenment as we're coming into this new energies. And they're hitting hard. I'm going to tell you that we're going to be hit hard by some of these energies, and remembering that they're not all your energy. It's a collective energy. It's a collective understanding. It's a collective knowing that we're getting into. And so if you can, believe in yourself, believe in your new stories, and believing in what you're doing. And I think this is a good place for a side note, because I feel someone's coming in. Oh, yeah, Metatron's coming in. So if you've never seen me channel before, I am not a full channel. I do not go all the way out, but I do disappear and not very much, and give myself over to someone who I'm channeling, and I only channel certain deities, certain angels, certain fairies, certain ascendant masters. Okay, so I'm going to channel a message for you. Now, remembering, if you do not believe in channeling, that's okay. But I'm going to ask you to at least listen to the message, because there might be a message in here that you might want to hear. And then after that, I'm going to pull some cards for you. So if you want a card reading, I do oracle cards. If you'd like a card reading, I would love to give you an oracle card reading. So give me a second, and I'll prep up for Metatron here. Okay, ready? Here's a message from Metatron. Hello, dear ones. Our story is going to be coming into a new knowing. Do not step into fear. Fear will be your deficit. Pain will be your deficit. Lack of thinking will be your deficit. It is time to think beyond the now. The conflict of your government, this election that is coming in, is going to not be what it is perceived to be. It is the beginning of the story, not the end. Find the joy in your individual life, because that is where the collective can change. When you take care of you, when you settle yourself, as this dear one has been learning how to settle herself better than she ever has before, because she was willing to look into her dark, into the trigger, into the knowing, into the story. It is time to believe in you, in your understanding, and in your grace. You are becoming an enlightened planet. And as you change, Mother Earth changes. So do not go into fear when she shakes and rattles and rolls or does her thing. Everybody has their personal journey through their story in front of them. Do you see how I did not call it a trauma or what's the word that you use? Uh, when a hurricane hits, yes, it is dramatic. Yes, there's destruction. Yes, there is this. But each individual has their story that they have to deal with inside of that. And that is your responsibility, that individual story. If you have a relationship with someone and someone else, and you each have your own stories, how can you come to become collected? And that is the gift of where you can be right now with my children, my loves. I am here, Maratron, to help you move through these new energies. Call upon me, call upon Michael, call upon Chamarel, who will help you with your new story. These angels are here to help you. And as they come in, they're being more dense to help you walk through this denseness that is on this planet. A lot of people are standing in fear, standing in pain and in ache and in their labels. But they are not lifting up because they do not believe that they can be different than what they are in society. Society is not your story. You are in charge of your own knowings, beliefs, and story. Nobody needs to know what's going on in here, do they? You can speak a truth, but do you need to speak all your truth? No, no. If you do not like what somebody is saying, can you say, "Can we change the subject, please?" Or can you say, "This is not aligning with me. Can we choose another conversation?" Or, "This is not a good time to talk about this. Let's choose another time and I'll be ready for it differently." Boundaries are going to be important, my dear ones. Boundaries are going to be the gift of who you are and what you're doing. So do not worry about having boundaries, but please make sure before you jump over the bridge to get to the other side so you can run from the trauma and the drama. Make sure that you do not turn around and look at that lesson, that experience, because that is what's going to happen, my children. Is experiences are going to be here to bring you enlightenment. Check in first. Am I learning everything I can? Now it's time for me to go. You will know when the right time is, when the journey is done. But if there is something that is hurting you physically, spiritually, emotionally, and spiritually, and even financially, it is time for you to really discern should you be here anymore. Individually, it is important, yes, but community is important too. And there are some enlightened ones that have not been enlightened that are becoming to wake up. And sometimes many of you have been holding space for them to wake up, to enlighten themselves. So it's time to trust yourself. Trust that gut of yours. Your gut will not. Your mind has tried to be in control, but your nervous systems, my dear children, have been in charge. So check in with the lower body before you believe this mind of yours. Your mind is very smart, but you also have the mind of the throat, the mind of the heart, the mind of the gut, the mind of the nervous system. It is time to hold yourself in loving truth that is yours, but it also honors the collective. Be strong in who you are. Be strong in your knowings, because you are loved. I, Metatron, am going to support you in this year to come, as I am your angel of this year. Becoming your truer self is the journey. Your world will not be the same when you look back. You will not be the same if you look back. And what a miracle that will be, especially if you believe you are walking a miracle. And yes, there is pain, there is ache in miracles because it's called stretch and pull. It's time to believe in you. Namaste and blessings. And we do hear your prayers. But sometimes, like this dear one heard you last night, the prayer is not in right timing for you, but it will come in the way it is meant for you. Have those blessings, my dear. And remember, do not be busy all the time, but be in tune with doing. It is time for you to get yourself ready, put on your seatbelt, and go forward. You are safe in the surroundings of us angels. My love is with you. So be it. Aha. Angels' blessings with you, my children. Thank you. I hope that works. Wow. I've never channeled Manatron before. Thank you for staying with me through that, and I hope that that message in some way gave you insights. I know this year is going to be a heck of a year, and we're going to have things that happen to us that we never thought was going to happen. But if we can, remember that sometimes love comes out of trauma and drama, and that's what we're going to be doing. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Okay, so Bev, you would like a card. Let me see who wants to be in these cards. Ascendant Masters popped out that wanted to be. And then also to Wisdom of Avalon is coming. Wisdom of Avalon is coming. So if you would like a Wisdom of Avalon, so that is different cards like this that will happen. Looks like this deck, it might be upside down. Oh, it's not upside down. And then what I'll do is I'll read a page. Okay. And then Ascendant Masters have different deities that are here to help. Okay. So, Bev, Wisdom of Avalon. Okay, Bev, thank you. Ascendant Masters, Veronica. I will not let anybody on my video. Sorry, on Instagram. So if you'd like a card on Instagram, please let me know which one you're wanting to. And you are in alignment after Bev and Veronica. Clear the cards. Blessings be to you. Okay, so Bev, what I want you to do is open up 2 messages, whatever you're looking for. Whatever you're looking for. Align yourself to the energies. There we go. Thank you, Bev. Okay. Woo! There. Movement. So remember, if a card is sent for one person, remember that anybody can get these messages and it may ring true for you. So movement is the card that was popping out for you, Bev. And then that is a 36. So 3 plus 6 is 9. So 9 is about endings, but every ending leads to a new beginning. So movement. And remember that movement is a card. And I love these cards because, let me see, every path card is the same path. It just has a different word on it. So when you're dealing with this, images and ideas is what coming. So movement. You have great movement coming to you, my dear. Are you moving your home? Uh, uh, are you I feel like you doing a new home, new situation. I know you've been traveling a lot, but I'm wondering, Paula, I've been nowhere and service was spotty. I have to tell you, you scared the heck out of me when you came back on the radio. LOL. Thank you. I'm sorry that it was spotty and I scared you. Okay, so movement. Let me get to movement here. So 36. So 36. Movement. So this card is for you, Bev. Okay. This matter reminds you that all things change as part of a cycle of life. This may pertain to physical movement, or it heralds a release from restrictions and waiting. Rejoice, for change is in the air, and new things are about to enter your world. This puts you on notice that it's time to broaden your horizons as you move forward in your path. You may travel to new or foreign places, both physically or inwardly. It is fortunate and timely to do so. Nothing is ever meant to be static in ways of living mystery. Movement brings challenges and must not be resisted. For progress can only be made by letting go of what was, welcoming in is what yet to come. The marker always is an omen of change for the better. So I hope that helps um, in that journey of yourself. So movement. You've always had a life of movement, and you went through a life of great grief, and I know that grief is going to be around you again here soon, but that doesn't mean this movement that is not going to be good for you. You're going to find blessings and things that you're more worthy of. I feel like uh, you're gonna be in the moment here of so remember positive thinking, positive knowings. I'm also feeling like that there are some things that are in your house that if you can shift them a little bit, maybe release them to a greater good. I'm looking at the same thing here, so that more movement can come in. So uh, blessings be to you. Okay, Paula, I've got that. I will. So you're third on the list here. Tony on uh, Instagram, you said hit me. So if that mean you want a card or what? So let's see. Uh, you're more than welcome, Bev. Let's see. So Veronica, you wanted Ascendant Master. So this one's for you, Veronica. Your turn. You're more than welcome, Bev. Okay, so after Paula, after Veronica, I'll do you. I know that you're in that spotty area, and the alignment was for Veronica first, so I apologize. You can always rewatch this at the end to get your card. Okay, this is for Veronica. Come on, bring a card out. What is the card that meant for Veronica in the Ascendant Masters? Okay, Veronica, this one kind of stepped up, and this one is yes, Tony, I will give it to you. So you, Mists of Avalon or Ascendant Masters? Okay, so fertility. Fertility is yours, Veronica. Fertility. And isn't this Pan? Pan, what did Pan do? Pan was one that he sang music for his life. So fertility. So let me go to fertility here. Okay, so Tony, after Paula, I will get a card for you. So fertility. So Veronica, fertility. So this one is, this card signifies that it's a very futile time for you. This is the ideal time for you to conception of a baby or new projects. All the doors are open for you right now. Your mind is fertile with many wonderful new ideas, and abundance easily flows to you. Since everything is in its infancy stage, have patience with the growth process. Just nurture yourself and your projects so that you stay strong and fertile. Additional messages to this card. You have the Midas touch. Everything is turning to gold right now. There is good news about pregnancy or adoption, which could be a metaphor or the real thing here. Not the real thing, pregnancy, but in the sense of the metaphor of giving birth to new ideas, giving uh, uh, getting new processes in your life, right? Let go of worries and guilt and enjoy yourself. Now is a good time to start projects. So Pan is an ancient Greek deity of nurture, mirth, music, and fertility. It was love at first sight for Pan when he spotted his lovely new nymph, Syrinx. Yet Syrinx didn't return his affection. It's said that Pan was unattractive, that his name became the root of the word panic because of the reaction children had when he saw him. So Pan ran after Syrinx down the river. Syrinx called upon was water nymph for help, and they turned Pan into a willow reed. So in other words, I'm not going to read that all, but it's one of those things. So, life is not always pretty, but when we're called to do something, sometimes we have to get on the path and go for it. Okay, so Paula, I hope that you're there. Okay, so Paula, I'm not going to so which one? Ascendant Masters, I'm hearing for you. You're more than welcome, Veronica. I hope that helps. Call upon Pan to help you through your, bringing in fertility. Ooh, isn't that a story? Ooh, that's a new one. Yes. And then bring yourself down into that level of manifestation. Come down into that knowing that you are worthy. You're not worthy of everybody else's story, especially the one you live with. You're worthy of your own. Okay. So this is for Paula. There we go. Okay, Paula, this is yours. The Ascendant Masters. Woo! Whoa. 2 want to come out for you. So, you have white calf buffalo woman, so Mother Mary is with you. A peace offering, right? And then trust. Venishu. Venishu wants to say trust. Isn't she beautiful? So I think this is a story for a lot of us, right? So offer blessings. So peace offering. So peace offering. I'll read the quick version here. Oops, 501. So I'll do one more card reading here, Tony. Peace offering. So white calf buffalo. Boy, did you know Mother Mary comes under many different names? And so she will bring what you are looking for under your belief system. I love Mother Mary. She is mom. She is mom. This card heard. Sorry about that. This card heralds the resolution of an argument or a misunderstanding. Those involved in the situation are rarely forgiven or forgot. Be open to seeing the other person's point of view to soften any hard feelings. As you allow compassion into the situation, love's healing power ensures that everyone needs are met harmoniously. Leave the details about how this situation will be resolved to the intuitive wisdom of spirit. Additional meanings of this card. Be willing to forgive, and forgiveness is not always something that is like done and over. Forgiveness is a story, and sometimes we have to revisit it several times. Have compassion for everyone involved in the situation, including yourself. Accept other mother's apology. See humor in the situation. So, with that, peace offering. And I'm asking for peace offering around this world. So, trust, an issue. So, let me go to trust. Trust. Venishu. She is like amazing. Isn't she amazing? Just amazing. Okay, so Venishu. You can trust the situation you're inquiring about. The solid foundation of your situation gives the trustworthy basis. Keep purifying your motives so that they completely about love, service to elevate the energy and experiences even further. I'm going to reread that because I was pretty choppy with that and I apologize. You can trust the situation you're inquiring about. The solid foundation of your situation gives you trustworthy basis. Keep purifying and your motivations so that so that they are completely about love and service to elevate the energy of the experiences even further. So, in other words, what you're believing in is what you're going to receive. If you enlighten with the alignment of love and healing, you're going to get more of that, as you know, my dear. Additional meaning of the card. The person you're inquiring about is trustworthy. Trust that your prayers are being answered, even if you don't have the evidence. You're on the right path. Trust your feelings and intuition. Whew. I guess all of us are in that boat, aren't we? So I hope that helps, Paula. I feel like that you're going into this new beginning and trust, and that's when we usually start coming up with these sabotaging thoughts. And this is the time for you to believe in who you are. Yes, there's going to be some hiccups, but what if would be the good mantra for you? What if? Like, let's say the car has a little bit of problems. What if I find the right mechanic for me just around the corner? What if I find money in my bank that I was not expecting? What if, right? The what if, trust the process. Okay. So, Tony, for you, thank you for your patience with this. Let's see. Wisdom of Avalon is what I'm hearing for you. So, Tony, since you haven't done this, put in out there your thoughts and patterns, and like the text or like an airwave. It's going from the cell tower to our cell phones. The angels and guides will hear you, no matter where you're at. So put out there what your intention is that you would like for Tony. Here we go. Thank you. Now I'm feeling it. Your cat, Tony, I'm getting a hit intuitively for you. Here's this card. The owl. I'm getting in the trust what you're getting here. You're breaking into some new knowings that are not aligning with your friends, not aligning with the world around you. And that's okay. I want you to know that a lot of times when we're going into a spiritual awakening, that we're not always in alignment with the people around us and the things around us. You don't have to screech, you don't have to yell what's happening to you. But yet, you're seeing things, you're hearing things, and you're understanding things differently now. Find a path in your own way. It's okay if you use your own YouTube channel and find things like The Next Level Soul or my channel or, all those different things, that, we're coming into this understanding that we're okay. We're okay. So, deception and wisdom. So deception. We're all going to be going through some deceptions to get some wisdom. So owl. I love owl. 13. Owl magic is great. It's a lot of endings with new beginnings. So it's a 13. So a 4 card if you do numerology. So 13, owl. So owl. Here's your message, Tony. The owl lends you eyes that you can. Let me start all over for you. The owl lends you eyes that you need to order to see the dark around you. The owl can cut through the shadows and to illuminated to the real truth. One may be trying to camouflage his or her real situation intentions. Detect lies, dissent, lies, and unclear intentions are exposed with the owl's energy. Owl also reminds you to be honest with yourself and snap out of any lies or denials inside you. Lying to yourself is the way that you'll remain lost in the prison of your own making. The owl appears to ask you to seek the truth in the darkest place within yourself. This will set you free and restore you to wholeness. All is well with the owl to guide you. Deep wisdom into your human nature gain is gained through the ability to recognize untruths. Owl is the important and powerful ally. So ask Owl to come and help. I know I love Owl energy. He has helped me. They have helped me see through the dark. They always help me see through the untruths that are going forward. And Owl medicine, it's a great, great gift. So thank you everyone for watching. I'm so grateful to be here to help you. I hope that Metatron's message was there for you to help guide you. I know that it was pretty powerful. I stay around enough to hear it so that I can get the insights from it too. Please, if you need any assistance or would like any sessions right now that I have a little bit of extra time added to my sessions, 15 minutes. And you can find me at Natasha Venter AC. So if you would like some insights on life, I also on my YouTube channel and on the community page and also on my website, you can go to a lot of the shows I've been on, which speaks of intuitiveness, which speaks on what we're coming into, which speaks into a lot of our stories. So if you'd like some different stories of where we're at and what we're doing, on my page, on my website, you can find all the shows I've been on. I've been updating my website. So blessings to you. Please remember, I'm here, Natasha Venter, multi-life intuitive, past life energy seer, who is one who really understands and is graceful to life. And hi, Sue, you're catching me at the end. Let love be with you. And remember, you are a miracle. And if you're being labeled into your story, it's time for you to really check into what that label is your truth. So, with that, please, if you know of anybody who would like to hear the story or needs to hear the story, please share, please like, please subscribe, and know that no matter where you're at, life is going to happen to us. And oh, this one's going to be a roller coaster ride, but yet it's going to come out to be miracles if we believe in it. So you can find me every day with an angel under my podcast if you like to listen to podcasts. Blessings to you. Bye now.